More Hospital and Toro make it a breeze. Handle your yard with an easy maneuvering, personal pace Toro walk-behind mower. For commercial and acreage use, hop on a Toro My Ride Zero Turn with the comfort and performance you deserve. Plus, 0% financing available for up to 36 months. See Toro, the top name in turf, now at lawnmowerhosp.com.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
To the person who muted the work chat before their boss sent out the "have a great long weekend" message, hi, your Safeway PA announcer here. Your secret's safe with us. Let's kick the weekend into high gear with fresh quality burgers, kebabs, sausages, and steaks. Everything your tongs have been waiting for all week. So leave the conversation on red and enjoy every single day off at the grill. For quality meat, visit a Safeway near you.
Get the inside scoop for your team on Fantasy Frenzy with Halley and Douglas on Sports 1440.
Presented by Will Hawk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
Welcome in Fantasy Frenzy here on Sports 1440 with Connor Halley and Brandon Douglas, Declan Kruger, Donovan Paulson, and Josh Fenwick sitting in for this one. I want to apologize right off the top of the show. My Wi-Fi has been a little spotty. I have the first computer ever here, so if I have some pauses and hums and haws, that's the reason why. But we are going to have a great show today. A lot to talk about in the world of sports. If you guys have listened when I sit in for Low Tide, I like to do everything topic by topic, and I like to obviously give my thoughts. I like to hear from Josh and Donovan and then go to the text line. So what I wanted to do today, and Fantasy Frenzy is, of course, powered by Will Hawk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky, willhawkbeefjerky.com. First thing I wanted to talk about today, and I'm not sure how much you guys talked about it yesterday, was Oilers goaltending targets. I have a list of names here, and I have some pros and cons for each of them. So I want to obviously bounce them off you guys. I want to bounce them off the listeners, get your thoughts on all of the names I give you. I want to talk some NBA news in that second block there, because there's something pretty crazy happening in the NBA right now with the sports betting. And I know it's something that kind of gets glossed over a little bit, and a few bad eggs, but we're getting to a point where this is becoming so intertwined with sports that we can't ignore it. We have to talk about this, and we have to talk about the repercussions. And then as well, LeBron James, who, by the way, LeBron might be the single biggest driver of the text line. Like, you bring up LeBron James and you get more hits than when you talk about McDavid. It's kind of like when Fox News would talk about Joe Biden. Like, their site would just get flooded with hits. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it's like for us with LeBron. And then in that final segment there, time permitting, I want to talk a little bit about the World Cup, Canada, obviously what they're doing, their next match against Morocco and all that good stuff. So, you know what? Look, how rude of me. Before we get to that, how are you guys doing? I've talked a little bit here in the first couple minutes. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good this morning. It's got myself a little bit more of a sleep in today because Mackenzie had to come in early because she had some other duties to attend to. So I got myself a little bit of a bounce back sleep after I'm the king of the anxious alarm, where I cannot sleep to an alarm to save my life. I wake up 2 hours early, an hour early, 3 hours early. I'm just like a nonstop train wreck when it comes to setting an alarm. So I got a nice sleep and we're kind of having a good one. I'm excited to see who else kind of gets traded or signed as we lead up to free agency.
First, actually, let me ask you this really quickly. Did you think Markstrom was really on the market?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
But when I looked at the package that you got for Markstrom, I was kind of shocked. Honestly, like, I knew the Panthers would have to trade Evan Rodriguez. That was the most obvious thing in the world. But I thought it would be Evan Rodriguez and like a second round pick.
Yeah.
Or like Evan Rodriguez and Like not Evan Rodriguez, Jesper Boquist, and some other guy, right? Like
Right. I mean, does this open the door? Daniil Tarasov, welcome to Edmonton.
Well, it does 100%.
Here's Daniil Tarasov, a bit of a spoiler, I think that's now out in the ether. He was one of my names I want to talk to you guys about here in a second. We'll get to him a little bit, but yeah, well, Josh, let's hear from you. Give us your intro. Talk about your morning.
My morning was pretty chalk, basically the same as usual, except I just produced instead of doing my normal deal of digitally producing. So it was nice to get back there and work out work the skills a little bit. In or out continues to be the bane of my existence. I've started out hot in my rookie year when I was an intern, and basically since then I've been throwing up duds. And it's just the way it
happens. So yeah,
I know a thing or two about that too.
It's a little Michael Carter Williams-esque of you. Great rookie season, triple double in the first. I like that.
Just essentially just the way it is. So yeah, and then of course some people don't like the music choices, whatever.
Yeah,
that also continues to be the bane of my existence.
It's a big one. You get a few texts in there like, "How dare you play rap?"
Creativity, basically, is the bane of me working back here.
People don't understand how hard it is to come up for in or out sometimes. Like actually coming up with good ones at times, especially during the summer when everybody wants to talk Oilers off season. It's like, how many different ways can I say Darnell Nurse is going to be traded by this day? Darnell Nurse this, listen, Darnell Nurse that.
Just don't.
No, I agree.
I didn't.
I have sometimes like Connor Halley for 5 questions, and he's the GOAT and he's kind of our boss. Let's not get that wrong. But sometimes his 5th question is like, do you like butter or jam on your toast? Yeah. And I'm like, all right, is that really what we're whipping up for 5 questions? But then you sit there and you make them and you're like, okay, yeah, there's a little bit more to this. I do want to talk Oilers goaltenders or Oilers goaltending options. And by the way, I think my computer's fully down, so it's going to be very much like Tide yesterday. But the names I had for you guys, talking about the pros and cons of each of them. You know what? I'll go one by one on the list. The first one I think was an obvious one. Connor Ingram, unrestricted free agent. I'm curious to know where you guys or what you guys think of where he comes in on the money. I think Connor Ingram would be my first option for as an Oilers goaltender next year. Now, the problem with this is obviously he's going to want a nice little pay bump. You're saddled not only with Tristan Jarry's money, but with Jack Campbell's buyout. Like you have $8 million. And listen, we don't know. Maybe Tristan Jarry comes back next year and has like a 15 goals saved above expected and a 920 and like a 1.9 GAA. But then you kind of like Donovan, you wake up every hour and you're like, well, that's probably not going to happen. Maybe it does, but I just think we can't really be hitching our wagon to what Tristan Jarry is going to be doing next year. So I want Connor Ingram just in the sense that he's the better option. One of the cons with that is, and I know defensive structure plays into this a little bit or a lot a bit as well. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. And, you'd be running back that tandem and they, like, would you take them over a Skin Picks tandem? That's a question I think a lot of people have. And then obviously with how much money you're probably looking at paying him, especially when he knows like not a flat. Now he's not some incredible stand on your head Vezina caliber goaltender, but he knows not exactly a flush goalie market. He's going to want to pay bump, can probably get that from a few different teams. I like the idea of Connor Ingram because he's obviously familiar with the club. I think he was far and away the better goaltender last year. The cons, obviously, running it back with the same tandem when it didn't exactly work out. And then on top of that, the pay increase that's going to come with him, it just makes it a little bit of a tough decision. So what say you two when it comes to Connor Ingram?
For me, with Connor Ingram, he is the obvious choice.
He's the 1-1.
He is the 1-1. It's a guy who I think what you're going to get. He's pretty safe. To me, when I watch Connor Ingram, the floor is high, but the ceiling is kind of middling. Right? I think that's a safe thing to say about Connor Ingram.
Wait, say that again.
The floor is high, but the ceiling is kind of middling.
Yeah, I think and you know what? I would even argue the floor is high for a floor.
Yes.
But it's still not, you're not on the 24th floor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like maybe it's an 8-story building, you're on floor 6.
Yes. The ceiling isn't all that high for me with Connor Ingram. Like I don't think you're ever going to have a guy who's, a 930 save percentage and going to win you a Vezina or even get like top 10 votes for the Vezina. But I think you see a goalie who can give you kind of a middling, like kind of, 15 to 13 to 17 type of save percentage season. out of goalies. I would go Connor Ingram again. Tarasov's a guy out there. There's some other more risky boom or bust options, but I know some other fans aren't going to like running it back or that idea, but to me, the definition of insanity was running back the same coaching to me. After some of the, we'll call them lineup over adjustments, to me, you need to bring back a little stability. Connor Ingram can be stable. Tristan Jarry is going to be the wild card. Jarry, I wouldn't be surprised to see him bounce back. You're in a Mike Babcock system. Mike Babcock, historically pretty good defensive coach. Goalies usually thrive in his system. You look back at guys like Freddie Anderson. I guess you'd have Jimmy Howard, Chris Osgood. Like, there's been so many goalies who have thrived in his systems that I wouldn't be shocked to see either guy kind of take it and run.
Yeah, like my thing also, I think Oilers fans believe the improbable is much more possible than it is sometimes. Like, I think sometimes names get thrown out and they're just like, well, what, like, of course we go and get this guy. And it's like, well, pump the brakes a little bit. Like, they're actually, I know you guys don't always believe this, but there are 31 other teams and there are 31 other GMs making moves. And I just think like that's something that factors in sometimes when you look at a guy like Connor Ingram and you're like, yeah, like if you guys had to give Connor Ingram a letter grade last year, like I'm giving him, a B plus, maybe a low A minus, because he went in and talked to the prof and haggled for it for an hour and a half. But I thought he came in and played great. And he came in also not having played great in the A. He came in the clear presumed number 2 behind Tristan Jarry, and he overcame both of those things to, I think, have a pretty good season. Now, obviously, it didn't go the way you wanted, but that kind of I think there is a lot to point to him being the guy who returns, but I also think there's a fair bit that points to him saying, like, I'm going to go and figure this out for myself and make this work out in free agency.
Yeah, I mean, there's a total chance that he's gone, and I know people have talked about Ottawa as a potential destination, but then they
really like him, apparently.
Apparently, they really like him, but then they make the trade for Samuel Ersson. So who knows?
I like Samuel Ersson.
Who knows what the market's going to look like for Connor Ingram? I don't expect him to get a ton of money. Yeah. I don't expect this is a $5 million goaltender here. This is, in my mind, this is like a $3 million goaltender just based on what you've seen, right, in his past history. And he was decent last year. He kind of gets a B for me. He was a really strong soldier. He was a guy who you didn't expect a lot from coming into the season. He was your organizational depth. He was your number 3 coming into the year, behind Stuart Skinner and Calvin Pickard. Then he finds his way up. It was around Christmas time in December, I think.
Yeah.
And then he kind of steals the show, right? Tristan Jarry gets himself banged up. I'm still not convinced that he was 100% healthy when he was playing down the stretch.
I'm not convinced he was 100% good, but go on.
He wasn't good, I can tell you that, but I don't think he was healthy either. The movement looked a little bit different than it did when he was healthy. So yeah, like I'm just going to say I'd run back the same goaltending tandem. If there's anything that you've learned as an Oilers fan or as just a hockey fan, look at the goaltending that was in the Stanley Cup final. Just be good enough in front of them. People always talk about, oh, the Oilers need a new goalie. I'm not convinced you can't win with Connor Ingram. I'm not.
No, I agree.
Like, I watched Carter Hart be one of the worst goalies I've ever seen in the Stanley Cup final. 5 straight games allowing 4+ goals? Like, that was terrible. I watched Brandon Bussey, who was off the scrap heap, win his Stanley Cup. Like, the goaltending in the Stanley Cup final, sure, you need a guy to just play well when it matters. You can win with a guy like Connor Hellebuyck, but you don't need Connor Hellebuyck to win a Stanley Cup. To me, you just need one guy to get a little bit hot, or you're just really strong in front of him. And what did the Carolina Hurricanes do? They were really strong in front of their goalie.
Yeah, like it's all year after year, it becomes more pressing that we've always known goalie is such a position that is so voodoo.
Yeah.
But you look at, we had Sherwood Park's finest and a guy who was working at Chipotle during COVID as the 2 Stanley Cup Finals goaltenders. You know what I mean? It's just hey, you know who hasn't been to a Stanley Cup? Connor Hellebuyck. You know who doesn't have a ring? Igor Shesterkin. You know who doesn't have a ring? Ilias. Yeah, Bob's got 2, and obviously that Panthers team was a lot deeper and a lot better kind of through and through, but it's such a position. And this is the other thing always that I kind of revert to if you're the Edmonton Oilers. You have Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, and I'd even throw Evan Bouchard by extension in this conversation. Like, in a salary cap era, you're probably not going to get to have Dominic Hasek in net. You know what I mean? So you have to make it work with defensive structure. You have to make it work with what you've got. I do want to get to some other names here because I had a bunch. I'm not sure if we'll get a chance to run through all of them. But this is one that's come up a little bit more of recently. I believe Friedman talked about it on 32 Thoughts. I don't want to misreport that.
Yep.
But it's Devin Levi.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And so Devin Levi, this is my thing with Devin Levi. That 23-24 season he had with Buffalo, played 23 games, I think it was. Actually, hold on. I have his numbers in front of me here. I can pull them up. If I didn't have the world's slowest computer, so maybe I can. But I think he had an under 900 save percentage. I think his GA was in the threes, but he was like 10 goals saved above expected or something like that. Then for that 23-24 season, or 24-25 season he played with Buffalo, he only played 9 games. I looked it up. He was 85th in the NHL in goals saved above expected. Now, there were like 103 qualified goalies. Obviously, some of those only a couple games. And then it's like an entire year playing in the A. So it's not that I dislike Devin Levi. And even though goalies are so voodoo, I just still kind of have issue with putting our eggs in a Devin Levi basket because it's 2 different sets of sample size. Granted, not a lot of games, 23 and 9. It's 2 different sets of sample size, but it's 2 very different sample sizes at that. And I think that 24-25 season, and again, man, like he was playing for Buffalo, so take everything with a grain of salt.
And they were no good.
He was taking, but it's like an 870 with a 412 GAA. And like I said, he was 85th in the league in goals saved above expected. And then, listen, good year in the A this past year playing for Rochester, but I'm just, Are we bringing this guy in to hang our hat on as the answer at goalie? Maybe you guys think we are. I'm just not so sure.
No, you can look at Mike Babcock's history and suggest that there's probably zero chance because he is only 6 feet tall. And if you've ever been around NHL players and seen their height listings, you know that they are not actually as tall as they're listed at. They're usually an inch or 2 shorter than they suggest. So Devin Levi is probably more along the lines of 5'11". And as a goalie, Mike Babcock does not like those guys. So I would suggest that the ceiling's probably a little higher than it would be for a guy like Connor Ingram because this guy does have pedigree.
Definitely higher, yeah.
He does have pedigree. He's a former Team Canada World Juniors goaltender. That's why his stock was so high, is because of how well he played for Canada and how well he showed up in big moments. I don't think that that's likely for Devin Levi. He's going to get a new chance somewhere. I just don't think it's here. I wouldn't hate it, but I'd be a little scared for a Jari and Levi tandem because of the level of uncertainty.
That's what I'm saying. Like when something goes wrong with a Levi and Jari tandem, you have a feeling it's going to go catastrophically bad.
Explosion, nuclear bomb, and everything's going to blow up.
Now, the other thing I would say is that if it's going to go nuclearly bad, you want it to happen in a city like Edmonton because, boy, can that team outscore their problems. So that's kind of one thing you have in your back pocket. But it does give you a little bit of pause. Like, are we?
Yeah.
You know? So, listen, that was one name I had thrown out. Another one that had been kind of rumored, and I don't, I'm trying to figure out the right way to bring this up because in no way do I want this guy here, but I've seen the name thrown out there. It's Sam Montembeault. And the 2 things with Sam Montembeault are, yes, he's available, but he's not very good at hockey. So that's kind of the other thing you have to factor in there. He's getting paid $3.1 for next year before he becomes a UFA after the 2027 season. This is the one I'm bringing up to just say no chance. Like, I don't want Sam Montembeault in this net. I certainly don't want a Sam Montembeault Tristan Jarry tandem, because the other thing with that is like Sam Montembeault and Tristan Jarry, neither of them are even steady. You know what I feel like they're just so up and down both ways.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm totally firmly out on Sam Montembeault.
Yeah, for 10 different reasons.
Sam Montembeault, who had his own stick with NHL or with McDonald's this year.
Sam the Team Canada goalie. Shout out him only making Team Canada because he was French, by the way. Like, that's so awesome. What a luxury.
I'm not going to go that far. He did have a little bit of a good stretch in Montreal, but last year everything kind of went kablooey. Everything blew up for Sam Montembeault, and he could not find his game to save his life. To me, Sam Montembeault is just one of those guys who looks like a flash in the pan.
Yeah.
That's the kindest way I can say it.
He really does. And his career is so like, I feel like people think of Sam Montembeau. Maybe I could be wrong on this, but I feel like people think of Sam Montembeau of being in the league for like 3 or 4 years.
Mhm.
And he's been here since 2018, man. Like he was with Florida before.
He was
Like,
terrible in Florida.
horrible.
First season in Montreal, no good. Second season in Montreal was okay, and then he's been okay for 2 seasons. But he's what 83 games of okay goaltending. I'm okay. I don't need him.
In a limited sample size, he's a bit of an AHL warrior. Like his AHL numbers are pretty, and then you watch him in the NHL, and you're like, oh, I don't know about this.
Yeah, I don't think he's the guy. I think in my mind, he's kind of like Connor Ingram, but I would just rather have Connor Ingram.
Yeah. Oh, listen, we're going to run through a couple. We'll take a break here and we'll run through a couple more names. I want to get to this text because my text line started working. My computer started working right as I got this text from DD Border City. It cut a little deep, but I'll read it anyway. He said, Declan, you hosting a show trying to talk hockey doesn't work. Let Donovan run the hockey part. Stick to your basketball MMA. Should have been you here, DD Border City. You did dunk on me a little bit with that one. I think we're doing a good job. I think the conversation's flowing pretty well. I think we're doing okay. I think we're all making some pretty good points here. We will talk basketball, though. That was kind of the crux of what I wanted to talk about because there is big basketball news. LeBron not going to be returning to LA. I want to talk to you guys about the betting as well a little bit. Hopefully we can get to that in the next segment. We are going to talk some more Oilers goaltending options. And then we're going to finish off in the last segment, I think, if time permits, talking a little bit of the World Cup. So we'll take a break here. It's Fantasy Frenzy. When we return, more on Oilers goaltenders.
Cantork has turned 25. That's right, 25 years of building tools so good, they practically torque themselves. Hard work and innovation equals problem solved. See our latest designs at cantork.com.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Car shopping sucks. That's right. Going back and forth 100 times just to get a price. Give me your credit card for a test drive. What's all these extra fees? That sounds ridiculous. At Northgate, we do things a little differently. Good deals on new, pre-owned vehicles, good people, and a great selection. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country. Did you know there are actually 3 seasons we experience in June? Spring, summer, and construction season. And while roads may be narrowed and detours are everywhere, GS construction crews are on site every day doing the work because the city doesn't stop, and neither do we. As we build and upgrade infrastructure, life continues around us. That's why we never lose sight of what matters most, making sure everyone, including our team, returns home safely at the end of the day. For more on what we do, visit gsconstruction.ca.
With Play Alberta, backing the home team goes beyond the bets. That's because your picks have provincial impact. Play Alberta is the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. By investing in the General Revenue Fund, every play, bet, and buy made on Play Alberta helps make a difference across the province. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
When your project can't afford downtime, call Japa Equipment Rentals. From excavators and wheel loaders to compaction equipment, Japa has the machines you need. Trusted since 1972. Visit japaequipment.com or stop our Edmonton or Calgary locations.
Are you looking for safe and reliable transportation solutions for your wedding, corporate retreat, or golf trip? Look no further than Silent Rides, Alberta's premier charter bus company. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer 3 different sizes of units to cater to your needs, and we provide first-class service at affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information and to request a quote, contact sales at 877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Albertans love to debate the best way to enjoy summer sports.
No. Playing on the field is the best, man.
No way. Watching from the sidelines, way more relaxing.
You're both crazy. Checking out the game from the Bro Zone is where it's at.
But there's one thing every sports fan agrees on.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky.
Wherever you catch the action, load up on Alberta's best beef jerky.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky. Because you can't have summer fun with salad. Only available in Leduc.
Listen up, friends. Operation Pizza is a go at Papa John's. They're introducing new personal pizzas just in time to celebrate the premiere of Toy Story 5. These adventure-sized pies come in new exciting flavors like Sheriff's Roundup, Space Ranger-oni, and Reach for the Pie. Or take your personal pizza to infinity and beyond by creating your own flavor just for you. Order 2 or more with Papa Pairings and get yours for only $9.99 each. New personal pizzas are ready for takeoff. See Disney and Pixar's Toy Story 5 in theaters June 19th.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is serious about cooling. In fact, we offer multiple ways to cool your home. So you better
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If you're looking for traditional air conditioning, we got you.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Or ask us about a heat pump to help you heat and cool.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Cool with AC or cool with a heat pump. Cool your home with Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Happy Canada Day from everyone here at Catch of the Week. What does a Catch of the Week Canada Day taste like?
It's fresh made-to-order sushi and platters for my guests.
It's the family get-together, enjoying colossal crab clusters and jumbo prawns dipped in warm butter.
It's all here at Catch of the Week. Plus, don't miss out. Get your free lobster with purchase today.
Conditions apply. See Catch of the Week for details. Just off the Henday, 5 minutes from Sherwood Park. Details and directions at catchoftheweekedmonton.com.
Every coach needs a game plan. Plan your fantasy frenzy with Halley and Douglas right here on Edmonton's Sports 1440.
Presented by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
Welcome back into Fantasy Frenzy, powered by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky, wilhaukbeefjerky.com. Declan Kruger sitting in for Connor Halley, Donovan Paulson sitting in for Brandon Douglas, Josh Fenwick also kind of sitting in for Brandon Douglas, but also just being himself. This segment, where we're going to continue talking about the Edmonton Oilers goaltending options, is brought to you by Elks Nation. Check out the new website at elksnation.ca. Articles, podcasts, and more, breaking down the green and gold, most in-depth EE football coverage online, elksnation.ca. So we wrapped up last segment, and we had gone over three potential goalies for the Edmonton Oilers, and I think we were all kind of in a consensus that Connor Ingram, probably our first choice. I had talked about the insanity of running something back. Donovan had made the reference that the insanity was more in the coaching decisions. We had talked Sam Montembeault, and we had said, hey, no, we actually don't want a bad goaltender here. Then we had talked Devin Levi, and we had made the point that although I think we both, kind of like Devin Levi, there's just a little too much boom or bust there with a him and Jari tandem. I think that was kind of where we came in on that one. I want to throw some more names out there for you guys, and I want to start with this one, Freddie Anderson. Because that's been a name that's been, loosely attached. You look at what Freddie Anderson did in the playoffs, obviously, before he got pulled. And despite that, he still had the fourth best goal saved above expected in the playoffs last season. Now he was like minus 3.3 during the regular season. He's 100 years old. The numbers don't look great, but the way he really elevated his game is, I think that's something Oilers fans would hang their hat on, because I think one of the biggest problems Edmonton Oilers fans had with, Stu Skinner during those two cup runs, or Cal Pickard, was that there was some, like for Stu Skinner specifically, obviously I know the two Dallas series were great, but he also had kind of the inability to elevate his game sometimes. And that was evidenced by being pulled 3 times in 2 cup runs. So I think when you look at Freddie Anderson's, like I said, that ability to elevate his game, that's something you may point to and say, hey, we kind of like that. Then there's the whole issue of like, well, coming off that playoff run, how much money is this guy going to want? And he's 36 years old. So where do you guys come out on Freddie Anderson?
Freddie Anderson, I'm firmly out on.
Okay. All right.
If you've looked at Freddie Anderson's career, which I know you have, Deck, but talking to listeners, if you've looked at Freddie Anderson's career, you will see a large sample size of injury. You will see 22-23, where he only played 34 games. 23-24, where he only played 16 games. Like this year, he only played 35 games, right? Like Freddie Anderson has been a Band-Aid his entire career. And over the last 4 years, quick math, we're looking at like just it's like 100 games over his last 4 seasons and change, 100 games and change. Like, I don't want any part of that. I look at the playoff ability that he's had at times, and I say, yeah, that'd be maybe nice, but do I want to, like, do you want to, the thing, if you want to talk about Freddie Anderson, is do you want Tristan Jarry to play 65 games? Because that's probably what would have to happen.
Yep.
Like, Freddie Anderson's a guy who people talk about Thatcher Demko as a guy you got to nurse through the season. Freddie Anderson is the same, but a worse goalie. Like, that's how I view them. Like, if you want to talk Freddie, I'm there for it. If you want to talk playoff Freddie, who's been statistically a pretty good goaltender, but even in playoffs, I don't know if he's going to be healthy. That one, like, I would rather go Thatcher Demko and pay the big ticket because I know that that's an elite goaltender when healthy. Freddie, I don't think is an elite goaltender, period. I like Freddie. I do. I've always liked Freddie.
Yeah,
it's just health scares the hell out of me.
So how much would you pay for each of them?
Oh, Freddie Anderson.
Because here's the thing. Like, how much do you think Freddie's going to want? Because I bet he wants...
I have no idea.
I bet Freddie... You say 6, Josh? I was going to say I bet he wants north of 5. After the playoffs he just had, I bet you he wants north of 5.
I would... Sorry, Dak. I was going to say I would not pay him more than like $2.5 million. Just based on he cannot stay healthy.
I guess I don't totally agree, but because my thing was like, I'll give you 3. I'll give you $3 million. That seemed for what you did in the playoffs, and like maybe some high end capability if it comes to that point. But you make the excellent, like, can't stay healthy. In the last season was I think second most amount of games he's played in like 7 years at 35. And then you look at obviously the playoffs where he has to get pulled, and it's just like you'd be paying a lot for a lot of question marks. And then you talk about Demko. I think everybody in the world thinks Thatcher Demko is a better goalie than Freddie Anderson. And then that kind of circles back. Like, we keep doing that circle. You guys know that circle game where it's just, we keep coming back to, well, but goaltending is voodoo. So how much would you pay Thatcher Demko?
Well, Thatcher's got his contract, right? He's already got that.
No, I know, but hypothetically, like if he was a UFA this summer.
If Thatcher Demko's UFA, I'd pay him $5 million.
No, how much? You said
$5 million because of his ceiling.
But injury
docks him. Like,
yeah.
Thatcher Demko's being paid like a goalie who's 100% healthy, making I think it's $8.5 million. Maybe it's 8, but I forget what the contract is. But it's in the 8s, and that's being paid like it's you're a guy who's going to be healthy, reliable. That's what he can be. Is the $8 million ceiling? But what he is to me is more of a $5 million guy because of that inability to stay on the ice. So Demko's a guy I'd look at. Do I think Vancouver would trade him? On a heartbeat, I think they would. But I don't. Yeah. The package would scare me for what you'd have to give up for a guy who's that injury prone. I just think if you're acquiring a guy like Demko, you probably need to have a more reliable version than Tristan Jarry.
I want to get to this text before we finish up with some of the Oilers goaltenders, because there are a couple more names I want to mention. Daniil Tarasov obviously being one of them. This one came in from Chris in Fort Sask. And he said, hey, guys, is there any chance the Oil could get in on Werenski with Nurse for Werenski being the centerpiece? He mentioned, moves Nurse out east, parentheses, he might waive, gives Columbus a downgraded replacement in a weak UFAD market, gets Zach out of the east, so the Jackets only have to play him twice here. Chris, I would say no shot. Now, obviously, you're not talking about a 1-for-1 trade, but I think there's a lot that goes into this. One, I just don't, like, going from Zach Werenski to Darnell Nurse, and you mentioned that it was going to be a downgrade. Like, that's going from, Connor McDavid to just pick a center there. The other thing is, like, I don't think Darnell Nurse is ever waiving to go to Columbus. Like, I know he wants to go east. We've talked about Philly and Pittsburgh and Boston, obviously. Columbus, by the way, with no Zach Werenski, is just in such a brutal spot. Like, I think this is actually the reason I wanted to read this text is it's been floated a lot. There have been a lot of people who have talked about, hey, Werenski, he wants out of Columbus. Look at his money, look at Darnell Nurse's money, and they think like, hey, there's some comparables here. I think this is beyond a pipe dream for Edmonton in any facet. Like, I don't think, unless you're doing something like 5 first-round picks, I don't think there is any way there was a Zach Werenski for Darnell Nurse trade with Darnell Nurse kind of being the focal point.
The short answer is there is no chance in hell that the Oilers will be acquiring Zach Werenski, partially probably because I don't think he'd want to play here. But the majority of the reason that he will not be playing in Edmonton is because what the hell are the Oilers going to trade
What
for
do they
Zach
have to
Werenski?
offer?
I mean, seriously, remember back to the Quinn Hughes deal.
I know we talk about Ike Howard a lot. Columbus doesn't want him.
Columbus, even if Columbus wants
doesn't
him,
want him, guys.
even if they want him, let's hypothetically say that they want Ike Howard. What else do the Oilers have to trade in a Zach Werenski package? They could give up their 28 and 29 first-round picks. But look back to the Quinn Hughes deal, guys. There was a really strong 60-point roster player in Marco Rossi that was traded. Who's the Oilers' 60-point roster player?
This is also such a thing where Oilers fans are just like, hey, well, we'll make this happen. Because it's like, yeah, so now we have Dry, McDavid, Bush, and Zach Werenski. Like, how much do you guys want? And you guys want Connor Hellebuck too? Like, Zach Werenski. Here's the other thing, actually. I don't think people realize how good of a player Zach Werenski is. Like, he is not, I wouldn't say he's the best defenseman in the NHL, but he's certainly in the conversation. And he is an elite player who elevates players on his team who aren't really like, who's his second best player? Is it Kirill Marchenko?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, for him to have a Norris caliber season and do what he did 5-on-5, with no disrespect to Kirill Marchenko, but him, that being his second best player, like, he is in an elite category. And I just don't think there's anything the Oilers can put together that moves the needle for Columbus that they can't get from 20 other teams.
No, absolutely, right? The reality of the Oilers, if they were to try and trade for Werenski, I'm just telling you, it would be the 28 and 29 first-round picks. It would be Isaac Howard. It'd be Matt Savoy. It would be Vasily Podkolzin, and it would be something else. The Oilers would have to put in so many different assets to even sniff. And then even then, you're going to have a team that comes out with, a 50-point 23-year-old and a couple first-round picks and another really strong young player that the Oilers just can't match, right? The Oilers just don't have that same level of prospects or that same level of first-round pick capital.
Yeah, perplexed Oilers fan comes in with this when he says, wait. And we will get back to the Oilers goaltenders. Just bear with us for a second. He says, wait. I think if Columbus moves and Will moves Werenski for a boatload from someone and then grab Nurse for nothing, that's a good move. Yeah, but like, again, man, so you say grab Nurse for, like, what does that look like? Like, tell me how that's working out.
The Jackets could hypothetically grab Nurse for sure.
Yeah.
But like when you're talking Zach Werenski and you're talking what he could potentially fetch, look no further than a guy like Thomas Harley.
Yeah.
Like Thomas Harley is the name being thrown out there. Plus. When that is the conversation behind acquiring a player like Zach Werenski, the Oilers have nothing they can't even enter the sweepstakes here.
No. And this is a fun little thought exercise from Walter. He says, Werenski, we already have a guy to run the power play. So it brings up an interesting, if Zach Werenski was here, and again, he's not coming here. We can just nix that right
Werenski would be the power play.
Yeah, he would. That's what I think too.
He's a better player than him, sure. Whether you want to believe me or not, Werenski's a better player than him. Sure.
Yeah, like, it's funny you just say that because Vern asked, he said, would you trade Bouchard for Werenski? Yes.
Objectively,
I would.
I probably would. The one problem with that would be, would Zach Werenski extend here? I would need a guarantee on Zach Werenski extending in Edmonton.
And he probably wouldn't.
And he probably wouldn't. So,
which is worth mentioning.
That would be the conversation. Would you get a commitment to Edmonton from Werenski? He probably wouldn't. So I wouldn't do the deal. But if this was just in fantasy land where, Zach Werenski says yes to an extension, I would in a heartbeat.
This is an interesting conversation. I want to finish off with the goalies because there's one more name we got to talk about. Then we'll take a break, get to our last segment. Daniil Tarasov. Break me down the pros and cons for him in your guys' mind.
Well, Tarasov, the pros would be, this is still a somewhat young goaltender. He's 27, right? You haven't seen, dare I say, this is kind of like a similar situation to a guy like Cam Talbot.
Okay.
When he was coming out of New York.
I can rock with
it's probably a little different in the sense of everybody and their mom knew that Talbot was behind Henrik Lundqvist, and he had a great opportunity to become a starter, but there was still, he just had to do it. Tarasov, I don't think is going to be a full-fledged starter. I think he can be a very capable 1B. Like, I think this is a guy who you can see probably play 40 games next year for a team. I think he's going to be a fully capable goaltender. I just don't know what it's going to look like. Like, the most amount of games he's played in the season is 33. But he's been behind Bobrovsky. He's been behind some other guys in Columbus. Like, the Columbus stuff with Tarasov was weird because I don't think they fully knew what they had. I don't know. This is my second option. If we're looking at goalie behind Connor Ingram, I think he's still got upside. I think he could still be a strong, like I said, 40-game 1B type of goalie. It's just, again, for the Oilers, do you want to go with a risk? Because I still view him as a risk, right? He's still only got 98 games to his name at 27 years of age. It's a risk.
That's a great point. I guess we'll take our final break here. Come back. I want to talk a little hoops because, first of all, we cater to DD Border City on the show. But second, LeBron not returning to LA. And I want to talk to you guys about the gambling aspect. You guys saw the Malik Beasley, Ed Davis story, right?
Yes.
Okay. I was getting some nods. All right. So we're going to talk about that when we get back. Before we take a break, really quick, your top 3 goaltending targets off the top of your head, rapid fire, go.
For me, it would be Connor Ingram, Daniil Tarasov, and then do I even have a third? I don't think I have a third, honestly. If I had to say a third, I'd probably go Devin Levi.
Okay. Josh?
Ingram, Tarasov. Sorry, guys. Freddie.
That's fair. That's fair.
I get it. I get why people would say it. I don't know if I love it, but I get it. All right. I like that. Okay, we'll take a break. You are listening to the Fantasy Frenzy, powered by Will Hawk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky. When we come back, we're talking a little LeGoat James.
Commercial bills. Absolutely. They're masters of design, build, sketching strategy from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
The Riverhawks are back, and so is the fun. Celebrate girls and women in sports, the Canada Day Party, and Epcor's Foodie Night covered in nacho cheese. Good times and great baseball at Remax Field. Tickets at gohawks.ca.
Here's what you need to know about Lux Windows. We work hard. We come in early, we stay late, we go above and beyond, and then we go a little further. Not for awards or a pat on the back. We work hard so that choosing our windows and doors is an easy decision for you. It's the Alberta way. It's the Lux way. Everything we are is windows and doors. A company born and bred and made in Alberta.
Tomorrow, the free agent pool is open for swimming, and Sports 1440 has the perfect man to dive in. Join Lowtide from 10 till 1 as he explores the depths of free agency with special guests and live insights. Powered by Booster Juice. No water wings required.
Barbecue season. Nothing like a great steak. Which reminds me, Metal Supermarkets has even created custom grill tops for rusted old barbecues. Just one of the many special requests they've received over the years. You'll be amazed what their skilled crew can do. Barbecue grills to grills for classic cars. Sky's the limit. Speaking of sky, that's a lot of smoke up there. Now, fire in the hole. My steak. So long, sirloin. Metal Supermarkets, the local convenience stores for Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
Summer weekends in Alberta mean one thing: tournament season.
I brought the folding chairs.
I brought the sunscreen.
I brought the umbrella, just in case.
But who brought the snacks to get through a doubleheader?
I got Alberta's best beef jerky.
Wilhock Beef Jerky, the ultimate sideline fuel. Whether you're cheering on the kids or watching the pros, load up on Alberta's best beef jerky.
Wilhock Beef Jerky, because you can't have summer fun with salad. Only available in Leduc.
Hey, mama said the way you move.
Who should start? Who needs to hit the bench? Find out with Fantasy Frenzy with Halley and Douglas. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by Wilhock Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
Segment here on Fantasy Frenzy with Halley and Douglas. Declan, Donovan, and Josh sitting in instead. Connor on a nice, well-deserved vacation. Brandon hosting the morning show. Doing a great job there. So it's the three of us today. I want to talk a little basketball. So a story came out in the NBA. Malik Beasley and Ed Davis, two current NBA players, were indicted on point shaving in relation to a sports betting scheme. Malik Beasley's agent, I believe, was also involved in this. And really, guys, I want to get your thoughts on this, and we will talk LeBron as well after. At what point do we stop having sports betting companies intertwined with the league? Because this is the thing. I don't think you ever can, because the sponsorship money is just simply too crazy. But it's going to get to a point, and we might have already arrived at that point, where
the shark has been jumped.
Yeah, and the integrity of the sport is beyond compromise. Because how many stories have we seen from this with, Chauncey Billups, Terry Rozier, Jonte Porter? And this is the other thing, Jonte Porter, when he was doing it, no disrespect to Jonte Porter's a bum. That guy's playing 3 minutes a game, like he's on a league minimum salary. That dude was going to be out of the league in 2 years anyway. Malik Beasley is like Terry Rozier was an all-star caliber player making well over $100 million. Malik Beasley was a legit 6th man of the year candidate. These are real, it's not LeBron James, but these are real players committing RICO crimes on an NBA basketball court. So can you even take sports betting away from the NBA, or is it just too valuable as a sponsorship? Let's start there.
You can't. I don't think you can take it away from sports now. Pandora's box has been opened. The shark has been jumped. Whatever, it's there. It's happened already. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. How many of these metaphors can I use?
The three you dropped were great.
Yeah, thank you. This is just the way it is now. This is the new normal, and you'd have to go through a lot of stuff to be like, yeah, all right, Bet365 or DraftKings or FanDuel, this, that, whoever. You're not on the jerseys anymore, whatever. But it also comes to ESPN has their own betting thing.
Oh, dude, it'll flash up during the game.
Flashes up during the game.
Live
when
updates,
they were talking about the Chauncey Billups
if you're
stuff
under
on TV, they at the bottom they had their own ticker with their own odds and bets and things.
Yeah.
While they were talking about how,
what prison will Chauncey Billups go to? Leavenworth, minus 400. Dude, this is my thing. At what? Because here's the thing. I think you're right. I don't think you can ever take sports betting away from sports. Do we have reported deals? Because I'm sure the money they make from those sponsorships is akin to their TV deals.
I bet that's not something that gets reported.
Yeah, because we just our jaw would be on the floor.
Yeah.
I saw a report that last year Americans spent $165 billion on sports betting, which was more than concerts, movies, sports tickets combined.
Makes sense.
I'm sure the only thing that passes it is the porn industry, and they're probably actually pretty comparable now too, to just kind of give you a sense of where it is. But my thing is at what point does it become the point of no return that people stop tuning into the league because of it? And then the other thing is, I don't think inherently there's a problem with sports betting. I had Steven Estacchio first goal scorer in the Canada game. I got a nice little payout from that. Not a big deal. But when it's just when you have NBA players point shaving, so what do we do? What do we do? I know I'm saying a lot of nothing, I know I've said a lot of nothing in the last 2 or 3 minutes here, but I'm just so frazzled that this is such a thing. Because how do you deal with it?
I don't think there's a way to deal with it. I think this is the way it is now. This is the new world order, and you got to figure out how to crack down on it more for athletes. Like, you can't just take their word at it. Oh no, like, we don't have they might have to pull a Mike Babcock and just keep looking at players' phones like every day. So they're like, oh, okay, good. You don't have any apps on your phones. But then it's like, bookies, I'm certain, are still very much a thing.
Oh yeah.
Or as we've found out with the Terry
it's not
Rozier
legalized.
thing,
It's not legalized in every
mob,
state.
Yeah. And then there's also mob ties still. I think Terry Rozier is tied to the mob, as was Jonte Porter.
Yep.
It's just like, this is nothing new. I mean, you go back 100 years, the Dodger or the White Sox, Shoeless Joe Jackson, they were better. Like, the 8 guys got kicked out of the league for throwing the World Series.
Made a movie about it.
Yeah.
And now it's like not even front page news.
And now Shoeless Joe Jackson, to be fair, he batted like 330 in that series. I don't exactly know how that's throwing, but all right.
Yeah. You know, it's crazy to think he could have been batting like 520 if he wasn't throwing
just
games.
Like, he was just that much better, but he was letting off.
You're so good that you're throwing games and you're batting 330.
Yeah.
Where do you come out on sports betting, Donovan? Or maybe more specifically, like this situation.
This situation.
Here's actually another question. If would you say it's okay for athletes to bet on other sports? Because I wouldn't even allow that. Like, if you're in the NBA, you can't bet on the NHL. You can't bet on European soccer.
So I think yes. If you're a pro athlete,
there have to be standards.
There has to be standards. I don't think you should be allowed to sports bet, period. Because let's be real here. How many pro athletes play in a one-team city where they have no other interaction with other athletes, right? Like, if let's just say you play on the Miami Heat, you have the Florida Panthers right around you. You have, even the Tampa Bay Lightning. You're probably going to know some of those players. You're going to know the Miami Dolphins. You're going to know all these other athletes across different sports, and you're going to have the inside track on a lot of different stuff. So I just don't think that they should be allowed to bet on other sports. I don't think they should be allowed to bet, period. As for this situation, how have people not learned? I'm actually genuinely stunned that this is still a thing. Like, it's one thing to have one guy go down for this. It's another thing to have, how many are we on now in the NBA?
I mean, like, at least, well, for active players, like, they're like, I would say 4 super notable cases, but the number's bigger than that.
Yeah, right. Like, there's just been too many guys who have gone down for this stuff. It's just like, how stupid are you? I keep coming back to, how are you not thinking that they're going to realize this? Like,
do it better than the last guy.
What was the Jonte Porter one? It was betting on his under.
It was an $80,000 bet on his unders. Like, do you know how stupid you have to be to play? Like, that would get flagged in a millisecond. No one is betting $80K on Jonte Porter's unders.
Like,
except for Jonte Porter.
It'd be one thing if you're betting $100 on Jonte Porter's unders.
That would still be crazy, by the way.
That would still be dumb.
Do you know how many people know who Jonte Porter is? There's like 10 of us.
I didn't know who he was until I saw him get flagged for the gambling stuff. But genuinely, like, how stupid do you have to be to bet on? If you're a bench player, if you're in this one, you know what? Like, I guess this would be a little bit more high profile of a player, right? Than Jonte Porter.
But this is my other thing. Like, the two cases we have, 2 of the more, like, the higher profile cases, I would say, Terry Rozier and Malik Beasley. Do you guys want to take a guess how much money they've made in their NBA careers combined? Let's just do combined.
Oh, combined. Malik Beasley. I'd say probably around like the 375 million mark.
So
I was gonna say like 300.
It's a little less than that. It's 220 million combined.
Damn, I thought Terry Rozier signed that big ticket.
Why are you, with $220 million combined in career earnings, shaving points in a basketball? Like, what has to happen for that to take place?
Make $221 million.
Because they've probably taken their contract and spent them on really stupid things. That's one thing I will say in sports is I can't believe how some of these guys burn through their money this quickly.
Yeah, you guys see all those reports that come out about Joe Hayden. He was talking about, my $50 million contract, it's actually not that much once I've spent all $50 million with a $35 million house. It's like, oh, thanks, Joe Hayden. Yeah, dude, Lou Will had the worst. He was talking about how $5 million wasn't that much. And we've got a couple texts in about it's called addiction. It's an addiction. Yes, I realize gambling absolutely is an addiction for sure. And no question, it is a debilitating one. But if you are in the NBA and you are a millionaire, and first of all, you know what you're surrounded with, and then you have every resource to help you, how do you still fall into this? It's so mind-blowing to me. And I think, and Terry and Lacombe, he comes out and says you deal with it by banning it on a federal level. I don't think that's feasible. I don't think that's possible.
There's too much money in the industry.
There's way too much money in the industry. But something akin to that needs to be in place, because this is just, ridiculous.
It needs to go. Something needs to happen. They need to be more strict on this. I don't know how you kind of lay down the law with this, but man, something needs to change. And it's crazy to me. Even the second player here in this deal, I'm forgetting his name again. But man, he's made $48 million in his career.
Ed Davis?
Yes. Thank you. But $48 million in your career.
Well, it's not that much if you spend $35 million on a house.
It's not, and it's even less if you spend another $13 million sports betting.
And it could be even less if you spend $500,000 on jewelry.
All right, so this was a good show. This was a good show. I had a lot of fun today. We're going to do it again. We're going to do it again tomorrow, and we're going to do it again for the rest of the week.
No, not tomorrow. Thursday.
Yeah, we're going to do it again Thursday and Friday, and then next week. All right, let's get to a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Cattail Crossing. 9 and Dine every Friday after 4 p.m., $130 for a pair. 9 holes with a card and a $40 gift card to the Out of Bounds restaurant. You can book now, cattailcrossing.ca. Here's Donovan Paulson.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
NHL news today. Jacob Markstrom has been traded to the Florida Panthers, as well as Angus Crookshank for Evan Rodriguez, Jesper Boquist, and Ben Steeves. Some other NHL news coming across the wire. We have a small deal for Carl Grundstrom. He was returning to Philly on a 1-year, $1 million contract. The St. Louis Blues have placed Jonathan Drouin on waivers for the purpose of a buyout. In the NBA, LeBron James has told the Lakers he will play the 26-27 season, but will not play for the team. In the MLB 15-game slate, the Jays and Mets get after it just after 5 o'clock. Kevin Gausman on the bump for the Bluebirds. Coming up on Sports 1440, it is the Lowdown with Low Tide. I'm Donovan Paulson. That is your Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440,
A Stingray radio station.
broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Attention Alberta construction pros. For over 50 years,